picture this. You open your exam paper, you see a massive 6-mark question on computer networks, and you write down an answer that feels perfectly logical to you, only to find out on results day that it literally cost you an entire grade boundary.
Just listen to this sentence for a second. A computer network is when computers are connected together so they can use the internet and send things to each other. Look, if you're writing anything that even kinda resembles this tragically flawed, super generic student answer, you are walking straight into a massive examiner trap. Sure, it sounds right to the average person on the street, but to a Cambridge examiner, it's an absolute disaster.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why does this fluffy, generic answer completely fail the Cambridge mark scheme? I mean, we're talking a devastating 0 out of 4 marks here. It's because it lacks literally every single piece of technical vocabulary required by the syllabus. Using words like things and phrases like use the internet, those are massive red flags. They scream to the examiner that you don't actually understand the underlying architecture of a network. This is exactly how grade boundaries slip through your fingers. Not because you didn't know what a network was, but because you didn't know how to speak the examiner's language.
All right, Section 1. Fixing the foundation. Core network concepts. To execute a surgical fix on this specific syllabus topic, we really have to start by rebuilding our foundation. We can't jump into high-level exam strategies until we truly understand the strict technical definitions that examiners demand before they'll award you even a single mark.
So here is your Cambridge safe definition. A computer network is a system of interconnected devices, specifically things like computers, servers, routers, and switches, exchanging data via wired or wireless connections to seamlessly share information and resources. The nouns here, they are your absolute best friends. Words like routers, switches, and resources are exactly where the marks actually live. If you aren't actively using these hardware terms in your explanations, you're just leaving points on the table. A network isn't just connected computers, right? It's a purpose-built infrastructure designed to share specific resources. And we can categorize that infrastructure based on its transmission technology and its scale. You've got to be able to instantly differentiate these. A PAN, or personal area network, is tiny. It's just your smartwatch talking to your phone via Bluetooth. A LAN, local area network, is contained within a single geographical location. Think an office building or your school. And a WAN, wide area network, covers a massive geographical area, with the internet being the ultimate example, obviously. Knowing the scale is absolutely crucial because it dictates which hardware and protocols you need to mention in your exam answer.
Let's see how this builds into the actual protocols running on those networks. You have to clearly contrast TCP with UDP. TCP, the Transmission Control Protocol, is all about reliable, guaranteed data delivery. It carefully checks that packets arrive totally intact. UDP, the User Datagram Protocol, on the other hand, just throws caution to the wind. It focuses purely on speed with connectionless behavior, which is perfect for something like live video streaming, where a dropped frame doesn't really matter. But fair warning, confusing TCP's reliability with UDP's connectionless nature is a classic mark-losing trap that examiners look for every single year. Now, having all these technical definitions memorized is great, but in just a moment, I'm going to reveal a hidden examiner clue that completely changes how every single one of these network questions must be answered. It's a super specific detail in the mark scheme that trips up even the most well-prepared students. But before we get to that big reveal, we have to build the architecture to make that clue totally obvious. Section 2. The High Mark Exam Framework. Before we uncover that clue, we have to build the exact 5-step framework required by the Cambridge mark scheme. You see, you can't just brain dump facts. You have to structure them exactly how the examiner's rubric demands.
Here is the exact progression to guarantee your points. Step 1, the definition. What is the core concept? Step 2, the mechanism. How does it technically work? Step 3, the scenario example. What is the specific evidence pulled directly from the prompt? Step 4, the consequence or advantage. What is the scientific reasoning or outcome here? And finally, Step 5, tying the whole shebang together with precise examiner wording. Following this framework transforms a messy brain dump into a highly targeted, unassailable exam answer.
Section 3. Pause and predict. Spot the error. Let's actually put this into practice and escalate the stakes a bit. I want you to actively participate in this next interactive scenario challenge. Get ready to spot exactly where another student completely threw away their marks. Consider this scenario. A hospital uses a LAN for patient data, and the student answered, "The hospital uses Google to send patient files safely." Just pause for a second. What is the fatal error here? Why is this answer getting 0 marks? Well, the mistake is relying on generic trade names like Google. Examiners absolutely hate this.
Unless a trade name is explicitly asked for in the prompt, you must use exact technical terms. Plus, notice how they didn't even address the actual constraints of a local area network. Total miss. And hey, if that hospital scenario pivots to network security, which, let's be honest, it almost always does in Paper 1, examiners do not want to read generic advice like, use a good password. No way. They want to see specific NIST and CISA-style mitigation strategies. We're talking multi-factor authentication, enforcing strong password policies, mandatory software updates, suspicious link training for the hospital staff. These are the technical, professional terms that actually prove you understand cybersecurity on a network level. Section 4. The surgical fix. Upgrading your answer. Now let's bring the energy back up. We are going to return to that disastrous, grade-ruining 0 out of 4 answer from the very beginning of this explainer, and we're going to perform the surgical fix using everything we've just covered together.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer difference in quality here. Just look at our 0-mark disaster on the left versus our upgraded 4-mark perfection on the right. A system of interconnected devices, using routers and switches, exchanging data to share hospital resources over a LAN. Notice how we applied our framework? We've got the technical nouns in there, routers, switches. We have the mechanism, exchanging data. But look really closely at the phrasing hospital resources. That right there, that is the magic key.
And that closes the loop we opened earlier. The ultimate hidden clue, pulled straight from the examiner reports, is this. Scenario questions must use the scenario nouns and constraints. Generic answers are weaker. This is huge. If the question is about a hospital, your answer absolutely must talk about hospital data, patient files, or medical staff. If it's about a supermarket, you better be talking about barcodes and checkout lanes. If you don't anchor your technical knowledge directly to the specific nouns in the prompt, the examiner will penalize you. You have to apply the tech to the specific scenario.
Section 5. Post-surgery rehab, your mandatory next step. All right, you have successfully performed the surgical fix on computer networks. You know the definitions, you know the framework, and you finally know the hidden examiner clue regarding scenario nouns. But we have a massive, unresolved problem remaining for your overall exam preparation. You know this powerful framework now, but how do you apply it to data representation? Or what about Boolean logic, or trace tables in Paper 2? Look, without mapping out all the remaining topics under this exact same high-mark strategy, this single framework is going to be completely isolated and ultimately useless under the crushing pressure of exam day. You have to systematize this across the entire syllabus.
To make sure you don't miss a single step of that system, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We break down every single module with this exact level of precision.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If your exam was tomorrow, would you survive? Knowing what you know now about how strictly the examiners grade, you absolutely cannot leave your final prep to chance. Your absolute, unavoidable next step to secure that grade boundary is to map out the rest of your study time. Dive straight into our Computer Science 0478 Last 7 Days Revision Map Explainer right now, and let's bulletproof the rest of your syllabus.